What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show. I'm with the boys Nick and Xavier. And today, guys, we are talking about UFC Australia, Prates versus JDM. It just happened in the morning for us. It's the afternoon right now. We're going to talk about it. Prates absolutely dismantles Jack Del Maddalena. Absolutely a brutal finish. It just felt like it was coming and coming and coming. Brutal strike after brutal strike. Took the legs out from under him. Prates by far the biggest win of his career. This could shake things up at 170. Talk to me about it, guys.
Whooped his fucking ass. Man, I was very surprised with what I was seeing, man. I think that JDM has very clear deficiencies in defending leg kicks. I mean, that is like, typical of boxing heavy styles, but not only does he like leave his legs susceptible to leg kicks, but he takes them really bad, man. I feel like immediately he's always grimacing. He's not a good He doesn't have a good poker face in there. I feel like a lot of these guys are in pain off shit, but he grimaces and like makes it very apparent. Like he really needs to get a hold of his body language in there, because once you start really letting your opponent like know how much they're hurting you, they're gonna keep whooping your fucking ass. You know what I mean? You can't like. It's like okay, you eat a good body shot. It damn near knocked all the wind out of you. You keep a poker face. They might not even know that the shot hurt you that much. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a lot of the gamesmanship of fighting. And he just is very lacking in the acting department, man. I feel like it's like how are you gonna be giving him these rounds, even if it wasn't a finish, like because he had some moments, right? I didn't think like he didn't have any moments in there. He didn't have many moments, but I would say like he hit Prates clean a couple of times and had some moments, but Prates is his face, he never seemed phased in there, you know what I mean? He smiled, he got back on the leg, you know what I mean? Got back on his offense, circled around the cage, got back to the center, you know what I mean? It's just like meanwhile, like every time like there was blood in the water, like he was fucking dangling worms, bro, the whole time. Like, damn, like I think he has to just work on that shit, bro, because I just don't see him like winning rounds if you keep grimacing and like looking like like showing right on your face like everything that fucking hurts you. Um, but yeah, as far as Prates, I thought this was like the smartest IQ fight I've ever seen him fight, honestly. Probably like arguably the best fight of his career, the best, most impressive performance of his career, given that he was fighting the former champ. Um, really put out a masterclass, chipped at the legs, lit him up with the left body kick. I mean, he had JDM's fucking shit looking like raw bacon on the side. Like his shit was fucking looking like a fucking badass sunburn, bro. Like he was stinging him with that left body kick, bro. And honestly just whooped his ass, stepping elbows, like mixing it up, like not letting JD turn JDM into a wrestler straight up for like a round and a half. Like that all the man was doing is trying to corner him against the cage and shoot takedowns. Like did a good job of getting back up, you know. Not that I think that like JDM is the best grappler by any stretch. So, you know, whereas I do think like Leon is a better grappler, you know, a more well-rounded fighter. Um so but even still like I thought that he got back up to his feet in a quick time frame. Didn't let, JDM control him for too long. Clearly showed improvements in that area, man, and honestly, just a great performance, man. Got the finish, like damn near took no damage, essentially. So, I mean, I think he really threw his hat in the ring for this title shot situation.
Yeah, it was nothing but a great performance by Prates. I mean, like you said, probably his best IQ fight. I thought he learned a lot. This was a fight that told me he learned a lot about the Gary fight. Of like, I can't just stand in front of you and like expect to get a TKO every time. The movement was great. I thought he mixed up his weapons really well, just kind of putting the jab out there, even just flicking it like just in his face. Um, the knees were money. I thought that was the biggest weapon of the night by far. Just the knees were like money almost every time he threw them. The body kicks, like you said, X, were just on fire. It was looking like bacon out there on his side, like visibly damaging. And then he really wasn't like throwing a lot of leg kicks, but when he did, and eventually they added up, you could tell Jax. I thought for a second they were gonna stop it off. I think it was the end of the second when he dropped him with the leg kick. I thought there was a chance they could have stopped it, but JDM definitely toughed out the fight. For the most part, was kind of just getting his ass whooped. I mean, for a lot of it. I think from JDM's side, he struggled, I think, to find the range in this fight for a lot of it. Like he kind of,
Was chasing.
yeah, and it was more of a defensive kind of style I think JDM had out there. Like he was just kind of keeping a high guard, didn't really seem to want to like throw down in the middle, which I feel like is a non JDM kind of fight style. I mean, Prada's a dangerous man, fair enough, but I mean, he still got his ass whooped doing that. So, you know, tough fight for JDM. He toughed it out, though. I mean, he took some bombs for a lot of that fight until he couldn't. But I mean, it was just a great performance by Prates. Big for his career. I thought the best he's looked, and yeah, no, fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah, this is a prime example of a guy, an elite guy coming up in the rankings who is learning from his past performances, constantly evolving. Like you harped on, Clark, the Ian Gary fight, that was like the prime example why a lot of us thought JDM would beat him. He's just a more active striker. He's more active than Ian Gary even. We just kind of thought he would outpoint Carlo. Yeah, Carlos, but Carlos wasn't having any of that. He imposed his will right away, and I think the wrestling was a good idea by Jack, and it would have worked better if like his legs just didn't get taken out. He wasn't getting butchered. I like the idea of him mixing in the wrestling with the striking, but Protes's power was just too much. Now, look, guys, let's talk about what this means for 170. First of all, my prediction is they'll still do Islam versus Gary, and since Prates didn't take a lot of damage, they should flip him versus Morales over the summer instantly and have that fight the winner of the Islam fight. But what does this mean at 170? Could he overhop Gary? Does Gary still deserve it over him? What do you guys think?
I don't think he should hop Gary, especially given the fact that like Gary has the win over him. Um, but even with that being said, I think it's about timing, bro. Like the UFC, I do not think that the UFC is like super in love with giving Ian Gary this title shot. You know what I mean? And I do think that this was the kind of performance that, like, let's say, like, for some reason, Ian Gary's like, I can fight, but I just need you to push it back an extra month. They're gonna be like, hell
Fuck
nah,
no.
you're not ready. Fucking protest is boom. You know what I mean? Like he's like on thin ice type shit. I think he tentatively has the next shot, but like until that shit is penciled in and we see like until we see that fight on the schedule and announced, like I still think like the chances for anyone to kind of snag that shit, even Morales on some availability shit, like. I just think that like it's a high likelihood that they kind of hoe Ian Gary a little bit. And Prates put himself right in the mix, like for that. Especially because it will be one thing if he like came out, knocked him out round one, and we didn't really see any like growth in his game. But I think actually sometimes like I feel like if you've already lost to a champion, or if you've already lost to a number one contender in this case, what would make them more likely to run a rematch is like how competitive the fight was, or if you show something in your new fights that like kind of can put like a reasonable doubt that the fight would could potentially go differently the next time. You know what I mean? Like for example, let's say like DDP goes out and like for some reason fights like a fluffy or something and looks amazing in the wrestling, right? That might help his chances more towards getting another Hamzat shot than if he would have go out and just, win like normal DDP, mostly on the feet. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, it's a good win for you, but it doesn't like create a reasonable doubt that the second fight could go differently than the first one. You know what I mean? And with Prates, I think that he understood like it didn't look like he was hunting for one shot here. He was just fighting, just putting output out there. And I thought that it was the best version of Prates I've seen. Like him just like not just relying on the power so much. Just like, let the skills do the talking. Body kicks, leg kicks, chip away at them, light strikes, step in elbows. You know what I mean? Like I just thought that the reason that we all picked JDM in this fight was because, like you said, banking on him we were banging on him outputting Prates, and Prates showed that like no, and I think that like this Prates gives Gary a lot more problems in the first fight. You know what I mean? So it's like because of that, I think that like this is the kind of performance that could like kind of wash away how he lost to Gary a little bit in the eyes of the UFC and propel them to like skipping his ass.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's definitely good for the division in my mind. I think Prates is like one of the more exciting prospects when it comes to just highlight reels in the UFC. No discredit to JDM, but I feel like a lot of his fights, once he got towards the top, were more decision fights. And it was nice looking boxing, but some of these guys up here, Vicious, Morales, Shavkat, Prates, like these are just vicious dudes up here. And I would say this. I think I'm assuming that Gary Islam fight is booked already. I would assume for International Fight Week. Um, just based on the timing, I don't think Prates has enough time to jump up, but I do agree. I think he could be a backup here if Gary decides to pull out. Where's Morales in all this? I have no idea. I think they're trying to figure out what to do with him. But it's exciting. Like this is an exciting top five. Like all of them, I'd say somewhat in their prime. I think JDM's like the youngest at like, or maybe it's Morales. Is he like 27? I'm not sure, but
Both of them are 27, 28 though.
yeah, him and JDM are like the youngest, but they're still up there. Prates like in his prime right now for sure. Gary, I would say in his prime. All these dudes are so good up there. And, it's going to be interesting to see how they match make with Islam. I will say the one thing I would worry about Prates in an Islam fight, it is clear like you can take Prates down at time with ease. That'd be my worry about making that matchup where I think Gary like has proven to have like pretty good takedown defense for the most part. And even, I mean, we don't know with Morales. I believe his one loss is by a sub out, but we haven't seen it, so I have no idea how he is in that area.
That's
He's just a really big man, though. Like, I mean, he gotta be like 6'3", 4 for this division, and he's like ripped as well somehow. So it's an interesting division. Like, you even have Usman down there. Maybe he can like fiend his way in. I mean, Bilal, he might as well get his ticket out of this top five. He is done. I knew once he get to this position, it'd be GG's for him. And I mean, even Brady is like, Brady can figure out some things. I think he could have a wrestling edge over these guys. And then you have even Bonfim coming up. I like Mike Malott a lot. If they give MVP some actual striking fights, we can see how it goes.
It's
But
shit, like give him like a Morales, bro. Give him like a fucking, because on one hand it's like, damn, either Morales gets a good win over a big name in MVP, and that like boosts his stock, or MVP, on some old man shit. You know what I mean? Just earns his way to a title shot. Like fuck it. I just feel like give MVP the chance to like really see what's to himself. You know what I mean? Like he's only getting older. Like come on now. Like and I think that like if he loses to one of these like actual contenders, it's not the worst thing, and like it's good for like building them up. So it's like run it. Like just run MVP some good fights, please.
No, I absolutely love what you guys are saying with MVP, but based on his recent booking and his relationship with the UFC, he's fighting Roman Dolidze next or something like that. Like they just do not, they're allergic to MVP fun fights. So
I mean, I'll take that. That's a ooh. He might wrestle, but he knocks out Delete. Fuck Delete Day. Get him out of here. MVP whoops his ass. But
that's
I will say the most curious thing I'm going to witness here is I wonder how Islam deals with the dynamic strikers of like maybe he does just out wrestle them, but I don't know. Let's see if Islam can take some of these shots, like some of these protest shots in this fight today. I think could put Islam down. Like, but I don't know. I haven't seen Islam in kind of one of these like wars before, or even gotten clean hit a lot of the time. And, and it's
I
different at this weight class. It's different power up here. This ain't Dustin Poirier hitting you for 5 rounds, and he's never finished anybody. So you could easily
That's
eat
crazy.
his
That's crazy work.
shots.
He finished your boy BSD. He finished your boy
Yeah,
BSD.
BSD gassed out. He gassed out.
That shit was in like round one or two. Like, get out of here.
It
all
was
right, bro.
two. He gassed out. He gassed out.
My point is, I think that Islam will wrestle these fuckers, and I think that if JDM was able to get Protest down that easy, like that same shit is gonna happen tenfold, and he's not getting up though. He's just like staying on his back. But I do think that Protest does have the power to put anybody out. I'm also assuming that Islam's chin's gonna be just a little bit better just because he's at 170. Whereas I do think that JDM does have like a bit of a suspect chin to me because I remember he almost got knocked out by Gilbert Burns a little bit in their fight. Like he had some shaky moments at least. Like he has a decent comeback chin, but he does get clipped a little bit. And like I said, maybe a lot of these guys get clipped more than we would know, but like they have good poker faces. He just doesn't have a good poker face about getting hurt, hit, clipped, leg kicked, toe stomped. Like, you know what I mean? He will just grimace. If he's getting gassed out in the fucking grappling exchanges, he will be grimacing on the ground. Like, you know what I mean? Like fucking, he needs to cut that shit out. But I will just say, well, fuck, I lost my train of thought a little bit. What was I just talking about?
Like JDM grimacing. Oh
No,
well, for
Islam
that
a little
we're,
bit.
we're talking
oh,
about like
oh, no,
Islam's
no, no,
matchup.
no, 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 no. The match, like Islam matching up, right, right, right. I'm just saying, like Islam when he gets top pressure, like we see how devastating that shit can be. You know what I mean? And I just think that like the lankiness of Prates, like how he's built his legs are long as shit. And I just feel like though whenever a guy is like taller, like a Morales, or like, lanky, like a Prates and tall, like I just feel like for a wrestler the caliber of Islam, I feel like it makes it easier to take them down, you know?
Yes.
Like I think that like a Volkanovski type matchup is way harder in terms of wrestling because he's so small and compact. You know what I mean? He has such a low center of gravity and he's so strong. I think that with a lot of these guys at 170, these taller guys, even Ian Gary, like I think we're just gonna see like different levels of wrestling and grappling in most of these fights because like their lankiness and length is gonna work against them. I think more than it's not.
No, I agree. And kind of building off of that, based on what you just said, and I agree, I think out of the three like young main guys right now that pose a threat to Islam. I think I have Morales at one just because he is
Power.
bigger. Yeah, power, and he is bigger, and he's not scrawny. Like he is ginormous. I know it's Sean Brady, and it's not Islam Sean Brady night and day, but like Sean Brady couldn't even get a takedown on the dude. Like, 'cause that's how good his defense and striking was. But based on that Prates performance, guys, Prates versus Gary, who poses a bigger threat to Islam and why?
I would say Gary. The only reason, like we were just talking about, I think even in the Leon fight, like it's very clear. I think Prates can get taken down like with ease at times, and against a caliber of a guy like Islam, I could see it going bad for Prates. As big as he is, I think Gary is just proven to have like way better takedown defense in that sense. I think Gary's he's less likely to find the finish, but I think just from the because like against Islam, you need to have like some defensive wrestling, or else I don't see you winning that kind of fight. Like I don't see like Prates just kind of going out there and like, putting it on Islam right away and catching him or something. I think he's gonna have to stuff a few takedowns before he gets that. And from what I even saw like in the JDM fight, it's very clear he has somewhat a deficiency there. And I think Islam would be one to expose that. I think Gary has just proven more in his fights he can stuff them better. And I mean, it's 50-50 because I'd say if they are on the feet, I think more likely Prates is to find the shot. Because I think Gary is like pure volume and like
Mhm.
No
mainly,
hands.
yeah, just like kind of he'll put a jab out there for 5 rounds. Like I don't think he's gonna like he ain't throwing no knees out. I mean, he'll throw like a head kick once in a while, but I mean, Gary's gonna be moving around more as well. Like, I mean, Prajas look great today moving around, but I think Islam is a kind of guy who can track like a Prates down. Where I think Gary is like so used to moving around, and that's just how he fights. So it'd be a little harder. But if they were to fight each other again, let me tell you, I would think about taking Prates in the rematch.
Oh, I for sure would, based on what I just saw.
I know you hate that motherfucker though. So everything I say about Gary has to be taken with a little bit grain of salt. But um, for me, I feel like Islam. I do agree with you, Ed, that I do view Morales is as the biggest potential threat. Um, Not even because I think that he is the most skilled either. It's more so just because like I would say I would argue maybe like Gary is the most well-rounded. Prates is the best striker, pure striker, and we don't know where the grappling is of Morales. But I would probably assume that Prates is the worst grappler out of the three. Um
Yeah.
uh but it's like the size and the pure power. I firmly think that like I do not think any of these guys have a chance of winning a 5 round decision against Islam. Like I do not think that that's if he is to go down, that's how he's gonna go down. I think that one of these bigger guys catching him, whether it be a Prates or a Morales, with some overly crazy bomb that just puts him out completely, damn near like not like I don't like the fight never makes it out of the round off the bomb. Like you know what I mean? Like damn near Herb Dean's in there stopping that shit a little too early too. You know what I mean? Like I think that that's the only way Islam's gonna lose. Because I don't even think a person's gonna be able to like hit him. He's kind of with it, and then get on top of him, mount him, or like sub him, or club and sub, or I don't see any of that shit. I can only see someone really just putting him down where like he's basically sleep. Um, And I think that the size of Morales and what I'm assuming is going to be like I'm assuming that his grappling is solid because I don't know. Um, I think that that poses a little more problems than like Ian Gary. Even though Gary is the better grappler, I think that his kind of willingness to grapple is gonna kind of work against him here. Because there's something about people who are just used to grappling that like are when you're engaging in the grappling and then someone's better than you, sometimes it's better to be like a pure striker who's like so desperate to like disengage from the grappling. Like, I'm not hanging out in the clinch. The second I can get away, I am. The second, if I'm on the ground, the second I can get my feet on your hips and push you away, I'm standing up, you know? Versus someone that's more willing to like engage in the playing the grappling game. I think Gary's gonna be a little bit. He might have a couple moments, like let's say, like oh, he has a scramble and it's like looking solid for a second against Islam, but then Islam by the end of the scramble is gonna be on top of him. You know what I mean? I think that he'll have some moments against Islam because he has like the best grappling of the mix, but that's just gonna kind of play. I don't think he has the power to like the one shot power to just kind of put Islam down. So that's why I don't think that he has like that good of a chance. Whereas I do think like a Prates and or Morales have a better shot to beat him. The only way I think he is gonna be beat potentially, which is like just knocking him clean out, like catching him with something. It's not gonna be like it's the similar like to how I feel about John Jones. You know, when you're that skilled, it's like I don't see anyone just whooping your ass for 5 rounds. I just think that like the biggest threats come from like the Francis Ngannou's, the Tom Aspinalls, like people that on paper can put you down. The Rumble Johnsons, even. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that that's how I view Islam. Like, the only thing that's like gonna put him down is a punch, not like a singular strike, not like a accumulation.
Hmm. So what you're saying is we need a contender who can wrestle,
Oh,
can strike, who can do it all. Is about 18 out of 19 finish it. See, like Shavkat easily the best contender on the list. Like we're talking about all these deficiencies. Shot and look, I get it. Shavkat has to come back and like fight someone else first. It's very obvious at this point. But like by far, he not the toughest fight? Like in a decision sense, at least. Like at least giving Islam a little bit of issue. I mean, we've seen no
I would
weakness off the
agree.
man.
in
I
his prime.
I would agree that if he
He's
comes
an
back anywhere
timer.
similar to like how he looked before, he is the most likely person to potentially win a decision against Islam. I will agree with that.
Okay, thank you. That's
I
all.
just Nick, I hate to be this guy. These injuries are really worrying me, bro. I've seen some recent posts of him like going through rehab. He looks like a shell of himself. I know like he'll come back soon, but like I am very worried about these injuries.
And
Wait,
that's
what
fine.
was he doing in the video, Ed?
He was just rehabbing. It was like hospital stuff.
Uh,
And
he
that's fine.
he looked like a shell of himself. Goddamn.
He lost a lot of muscle. Like he
Yeah, I did
unfortunately,
see that as well.
Hey, we're all good, man.
but yeah, no, Shafkat. If he was still in his prime, man. Oh my God, 170 would be even more fucking
I don't even
insane.
know if he's not still in his prime. The man's still undefeated, unlike Islam, who actually has an L on the
Oh,
record.
come on, bro. Flashlight.
And Morales has a L. We don't know if he has an L.
He has an L. He faked his record, somehow posted. I don't know how he got away with that shit, but he got an L too. Like,
When he lost, he was like, that shit was an amateur fight, actually, whole time.
he reported it to the, where is he from? Like Venezuela. Like it was some probably back room like fight, and like they just were like, we won't count
Like,
this
we're not
one.
counting that one.
It's all good. Just really quickly, only have a few minutes. What other standouts in UFC Australia?
Um,
Those-
let me
I
see.
thought Parrish looked really like a good heavyweight contender with
Oh,
fast hands.
shout out my boy Quinlan Southkill, man. Benny Dariush came with the smart game plan, tried to spam his grappling, and I think Southkill, like, even though he got pushed up against the cage for a couple minutes and had some shaky moments in terms of like breaking the body lock and shit, it's Dariush, and Dariush been a good grappler, man. But he passed the Dariush test with flying colors. I knew that once he got free and like landed one or two shots, like Dariush was going down, and the fight definitely played out how I thought it would. And he did like show something. Like he did have to like face a little adversity in the grappling for a while, because Dariush did come out on fire, bro. He did come out on fire with the grappling. So like I thought he passed the defensive grappling test as well as the gotta chin Darius, gotta finish him in short order. If you're the guy that we think you are, you gotta knock Darius the fuck out, you know. And he passed that test, so shout outs to him.
Oh, that's facts.
R.I.P. to Ivasa, bro.
7 in a row.
GG's.
And then shout out my boy fucking Junior fucking Tafa, bro. Shout out Junior Tafa for getting a fucking dub finally. Like
That's true.
it was satisfying for me. I was happy for him, especially in front of like the Australian fans and shit.
Fuck yeah. Tafa now 7-5. Got it done.
I'm back, baby.
Comeback season.
And then shout out Cody Steele in the opener, like getting that sub. He's raw for that. Like it's not my fun. Shout outs to him.
Hit them. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please go check out the TikTok. We have plenty of stuff on there. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.